My engagement party, my fiancé was suddenly replaced by 5 identical-looking strangers. Chloe, aren't you face-blind? If you can find me among them, the wedding goes on as planned. Tristan's voice dripped with cold amusement from the recording playing in my earpiece. But if you guess wrong, the wedding is off. I don't want a wife who can only recognize her husband by sniffing his clothes like a dog. I stood there, clutching the bouquet. Tears welled up in my eyes, blurring the faces of the 5 men standing in front of me, because I knew, without a doubt, that Tristan was not among them. Just as I was about to make an excuse to slip away, the audio file automatically played the next clip. Tristan, if Chloe finds out you ditched her own engagement party to get a marriage certificate with Sienna, won't she? A friend's voice asked on the recording. Tristan interrupted him, his tone sharp and impatient. Sienna has late-stage cancer. Her last wish in this life is to marry me. How could I say no to her? As for Chloe, she's been chasing me for 10 years. She's too obsessed with me to ever break up over something like this. My heart shattered. The white roses in my hand slipped through my fingers, scattering across the polished floor. So, from the very beginning, Tristan never intended to marry me. If that was the case, I would gladly step aside. I raised my hand and pointed directly at one of the 5 men. Excuse me, I said, my voice shaking but clear. Would you marry me instead? The banquet hall erupted into a frenzy of whispers. The man I pointed at froze. Then a low chuckle escaped his lips as the other 4 men quickly backed away. Miss Vance, I am definitely not Tristan. I lowered my gaze, digging my fingernails deep into my palms. I know, but can you help me play along? I will pay you. Once this is over, if you want a divorce, I will agree immediately. The man stared at me for a long beat. Then, he pulled a sleek diamond ring from his pocket and slowly, deliberately, slid it onto my ring finger. Deal, he whispered. He leaned down, his voice brushing against my ear. But as for the payment, I'll decide the price later. A strange, inexplicably familiar scent drifted from him, but my mind was too chaotic to place it. The wedding will be in 7 days. I'll pick you up then. I blinked in surprise, but nodded anyway. After all, the sooner this nightmare ended, the better. By the time I managed to escape the prying questions of the guests, night had fallen. I returned to the penthouse I shared with Tristan. As expected, it was dead silent. He hadn't come home. I let out a long sigh, massaging my aching legs, and collapsed onto the sofa. I figured I should at least let him know. In 7 days, I was getting married too. I unlocked my phone. Tristan hadn't replied to a single one of my Snapchats. With trembling fingers, I opened Instagram. A bright red marriage certificate flashed on my screen, burning my eyes. Sienna had posted it. My days are numbered, but at least I get to stand by his side as his wife at the very end. No regrets. In the photo, Tristan was smiling so gently, his eyes crinkled with warmth, though the rims were slightly red as if he had just cried. The screen went dark, then lit up again. No matter how much I wanted to deny it, it was real. Sienna, my once best friend who had fled to Europe 3 years ago after her family went bankrupt, was now Tristan's wife. Suddenly, a loud, frantic knocking rattled the front door. I quickly grabbed a tissue, wiped my tears, and dragged my exhausted body to open it. Tristan stood on the threshold. Rainwater was dripping from his hair, but his arms were wrapped tightly around someone else. Chloe, there are bags in the trunk. Hurry up and bring them up for me. Before I could even speak, Tristan pushed past me, carrying Sienna up the stairs toward the master bedroom. By the time I dragged the last heavy suitcase inside, I was soaked to the bone and shivering violently from the cold. Chloe, thank you so much for bringing our bags up. You must be freezing. I snapped my head up. A sickeningly sweet scent of expensive perfume hit my nose. Sienna's face was painted pale, but her makeup was flawless. Not a single strand of her hair was wet. She held out a warm mug of cocoa toward me. Drink this quickly, we don't want you catching a cold. Tristan frowned, immediately guiding Sienna to sit on the sofa. Don't worry about her. A little rain won't kill her. Sit down, Sienna.